Unleash your success in 2024. Hopefully I can do exactly that. Again, my name is Henry Eisenstein. Super blessed to be here, Pam. Thank you for the opportunity. This means absolutely the world. Let's dive into some things here. So my promise for all of you here today is just to give you one thing alone, which is to get you super clear, give you a really clear plan of how you can add an additional $100,000 to your business this year, regardless of the economy or some ridiculous verdict that NAR decided to give us. Thank you. I do have two questions before we do get started here, which is, can I be real? Can I be raw? Can I be true, direct, and honest with you here today? Raise your hand if that's okay. All right, fantastic. Thank you for that. Second of all, is it okay if I share my story? All right, cool. I promise I'll be fast because I have like 70 slides. We're going to rip. So 21 years old, I was a two-time college dropout. If you guys remember back in grade school and you guys would look in the back of the room, there's a quiet kid with his head down on the table sleeping. Yeah, that was me. I barely graduated high school. Honestly, graduation was the greatest day ever. I was like so grateful. I was like, finally, let me out of here. I didn't even want to go to college. I didn't even apply. My parents were not too thrilled with that. At 21, 550 credit score. I am someone who has spoken so many times since on mental health. I'm deeply passionate about it, but I was one of those kids who honestly fell through the cracks. I had, mental health issues, depression, suicidal thoughts. I've attempted on my life 3 times before the age of 13, and I'm grateful to be with you all here today to share my story. I was $70,000 in credit card debt, and I had less than $2,000 to my name, but the second I got a check, I did something special with it, which is that I invested in myself. Just like all of you here today, I went to conference after conference. I invested in coaches, mentors, everything you can possibly imagine, and I'm so grateful I decided to invest in myself because it's made me who I am today, which I've been a part of over $500 million worth of real estate transactions, both on the investor side, the broker side, and every inch in between. $10 million worth of fees, revenues, flips, you name it. I've been a part of it. I own $8 million worth of real estate with my partners as well, and in 2024 year to date, I have over $4 million in pending fees, commissions, and everything else. And this is only possible because one day I decided enough was enough. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was sick and tired of not being able to have the financial freedom. My fiance was just in a horrible horseback riding accident. I was in the middle of a live stream, and I had to drop everything and run out, and she ended up, thankfully only tearing a few ligaments in her shoulder. But the point is, financial freedom made me able to walk into that hospital and said, I don't care what happens today, I've got it. My grandparents fell recently. I have all 4 of my grandparents still, but they're in their 90s. They're not doing fantastic, but I have the financial freedom to get on a plane anytime I need to go out and see them and spend time with them because they are my world. And I'm just so grateful I was able to say yes when I did. I'm gonna go through a bunch of things, but just to kind of give you some reference, some of the checks that we've cleared. And this is why I decided to get into EXP commercial, right? I was a residential side and I switched over to the EXP commercial, but just to kind of give you some reference here. And I'm here to share with you today what I've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to coaches, mentors, conferences, you name it. I'm gonna give it all away, and let's dive in. So today's agenda is I'm gonna cover my 8 principles of adding an additional $100,000 to your business this year. Let's dive in. Number 1, how to grow any business. I've been studying somebody called Jay Abraham. If you know who that is, he's the #1 business consultant of all time, and he talks about how there's only really 3 ways to increase one business, any type of business, and those 3 ways are increase the number of customers. Number 2, increase the average customer value or the unit of sale, make them worth more. Number 3 is increase the repurchase rate with those customers, have them just purchase more frequently. Okay, now let me translate what that actually means for you and all of us here as real estate agents and investors. What that looks like is obviously number 1, increasing the number of transactions, which is what every coach talks about. Obviously, sell more real estate, we're always talk that, but number 2 through 4 is where the magic happens here, right? This is how I was able to multiply my income, which is increase the average sales price, which I know sounds rudimentary, but how many of you are actually tracking your average sales price and making sure every quarter, after quarter, after quarter, you're constantly increasing it? The second one is increasing your average commission percentage, which I'm not just talking about your average 2% commission, but how many deals are you actually being so dialed in and making sure that your listing presentation gets you that 3.5% we were talking before, right? Or possibly even on the commercial side, we're getting 4, 5, and 6% commissions every single time, which allows you to sell less real estate and make more money. And number 4 is the special one, which is recruit agents to do those 3 things. Because someone's got to do it, and if it's not you, it's got to be somebody else. So we're going to talk about really fast here. It's just increasing the number of transactions. I'm not going to rip through all this type of stuff, but just to give you some reference, it's obviously going to go back to lead gen. So unlike the wonderful Elizabeth Riley, I'm a cold caller, right? I have many agents who work with us. We make about 100,000 cold calls a month. We pound the phones. It's just crazy excitement all day, 24/7, 365. That's my way. She has hers. You have yours. It's okay. Just want to share what we're doing here. But there's many ways that you guys can generate leads. But the point, I don't care how you generate them. The point is generate them. Because clearly right now, wherever you are in your business, if you want to make more money, it includes generating more leads, no matter how you plan on doing it. The point is that if you're right now at, let's just say, 1 lead a day, set the new standard, 2 leads a day, 3 leads a day. Right now, my team's generating somewhere between 20 and 30 leads a day. every single day. And it's important to be tracking that and saying, next quarter, I want to do more and more and more. Next, for average sales price, expanded geographic location. This is really, really simple. Where are the most expensive transactions in prospect there? That's it. I'm not telling you to sell super luxury properties, but I am saying you can't just prospect in your backyard because your backyard might be only $300,000 houses. And you're going to end up having to sell hundreds of them to make great money. So I am saying prospect where the money is. The second one is change up your asset class. If you're only dealing with hypothetically single family, maybe you change it up and you start doing 2 families, 3 families, 4 families, or like I did, I started prospecting commercial. Another one is expanding your network because obviously your sphere of influence influences what you sell. Next is increasing the commission percentages, which is really just about off-market opportunities. Nora's talking about how commissions are going to be changing, but guess what? When deals are off-market, does it matter, right? Because you control that. So it's an opportunity right here in front of you guys, which is finding opportunities right now off-market so that your investors and or clients don't have to even compete in this marketplace. And now the more deals you double in, the more commissions you make. Next, learning the tax game. Who here loves to pay taxes? No one. Weird. Okay, so what's fascinating here is that if you don't learn the tax game, you're going to overpay in taxes. And what's funny is that taxes are actually the least favorite word of every real estate agent. Am I right? So it's like no one wants to pay taxes, but if you don't learn the tax game, what ends up happening is that you end up, by the way, taxes are the most expensive thing in your business. It's the most expensive expense in your business. If you don't understand the tax game, which I've gotten very, very good, I've studied it for years. I actually went to school, community college, for like 6 weeks or something like that, but I went for accounting. That was the plan, I promise. Okay, but the point is, the point here is that you have to learn the tax game where like now I know it just as well as my accountant knows it. My goal is to buy enough real estate each and every single year where I can do a cost segregation study. You learn things like cost segregation studies where you can all of a sudden get depreciation immediately, where you get the depreciation where you don't even have to pay any money on your taxes. Wouldn't that be great? Who here doesn't want to pay any taxes for the rest of their life? Guess what? Buy real estate. It helps because it's not just about selling it, it's about acquiring it, right? It's getting to the other side of the table. We all love being brokers, but some of us don't understand that the money's on the other side of the table. The next part here is modeling. When it comes to being successful, I want you to know, like, I'm constantly up-leveling the people I'm modeling. That's the simplicity of success, right? We just follow the people who are more successful than us in every aspect. My grandparents have been married over 60 years each. I love asking them, like, what keeps you married? And modeling success when it comes to relationships is the same thing as your body is, it is your business, right? You model people who have what you want. When it comes to modeling, it's like, think about it, like this is super fascinating. If the top 1% of real estate agents, 1% of 1%, who make over $10 million a year have a team of 50 plus people, for $1 million, they give a team of 5 or more, and they focus on possibly luxury real estate and have larger teams, why are you not recruiting? Why are you not building a team? Why do you think you have to do this all alone? What's the point? Put the ego aside for a second. Again, this is the funny one, number 3. If agents who make less than $100,000 in income spend less than 30 minutes a day prospecting, why are you modeling them? So many of us do. We model the wrong things. 90% of millionaires did so through owning real estate, yet less than like a third of real estate agents own any real estate. Strange. And then number 5 is like 40% of divorces occur because of money. I love talking about money. You know who didn't talk about money? My parents. Guess who's divorced? Among other things. But this is what I want to talk about here today is just being real, raw, and transparent with each and every single one of you guys. Like, hey, I talk about with my fiance all the time we talk about money. We have to talk about money. I want to get it all. I want to be on the table 24/7, 365 and know where we're going. Next, multiple lenses. This changed my life. So there's 4 lenses that I look through, which number 1 is long-term. And looking at this property and saying, hey, if I were to buy this, does this property make sense, right? Instead of just looking at every single property. If you got a lead right now, your first lens is what? To list it. Oh, a listing. Amazing. What most real estate agents do is that they come out and they get a lead and they're like, oh, I should list this property for sale. Amazing. I got a listing, a 2% commission on the... I look at every single property through very open lenses. The first thing is this a good long-term investment for me? Should I take my hard-earned money? Should I take it and should I invest in this asset? If it's a no, I move down the ladder. Number 2, is this a great short-term asset? Should I buy it, renovate it, and flip it? The next one, if it doesn't make sense for that, should I take the property? Should I call all my buyers? And should I say, hey, I have an amazing off-market property. What do you think? And broker it off-market. Where instead of having to rely on all these other real estate agents in the community to possibly get my commission or not, I find out my buyers, see who likes the property, and I'll broker the deal off-market. And lastly, if all of those do not work, I list the property for sale. Where it's like, if you can adjust your lenses, what ends up happening is that you look at some of these properties. The very first investment property, by the way, that I found, that I invested in, came from cold calling. I called up, and I was like, hey, would you consider selling your property? And they said, yeah, I'm open to it. I came to their property, I looked at it, and I was like, okay, well, based on all these types of circumstances, your property's only worth X. And they were like, yeah, I agree with that. I was like, thinking to myself, like, if they say yes to that, this could be a great investment. This would be amazing. So I ended up buying the property, and then we went through, I didn't do my due diligence. This was like when I was very young. Ended up going through the inspections, closing the property, and then I found out I had fire damage in the roof, and I was like, oh, that was a mistake. I sold it for a profit, and then I called up another property in the meantime, and I flipped it into the next property and flipped it into the next property, and that's what ends up turning into $8 million worth of real estate today. Right now, we're negotiating deals as high as, $87 million. We just made an offer on an $87 million property. Today, because of this lens, because of the shift in perspective, now we're having different conversations. Number 5 is learn and master the art of commercial real estate. Here's the thing. How many of you are residential realtors in this room? Cool. How many are commercial? Anybody? Okay, awesome. I want to share with you something special. I'm not telling you to only sell commercial real estate. I'm telling you become something called a dynamic agent, which is an individual who understands both concepts, where you do not have to see a property or get referred a property and not understand how to support the client, and then have to refer it to somebody like Pam and the amazing team out here. But I'm saying explore the opportunity when it comes to commercial real estate. Let this be the beginning of a time where you can start learning about commercial real estate agent, become a dynamic agent, a residential agent who understands both concepts. Because as somebody who also was in the residential space, I was, at my highest, we did over 100 residential transactions a year. Who here just feels burnt out sometimes with residential, right? Just burnt out, working 100-hour work weeks, your clients just don't appreciate you. Yeah, I know, I felt the same friggin' way, oh my God. And at the same time, what ended up happening is that I realized for me, as someone who just loves spreadsheets and loves numbers and loves deals, and I just love hunting for this type of stuff, guess what? Commercial just became my love. My fiance's first, and then my dog, then commercial real estate. But I look at this as like commercial reinvigorated me. I fell in love with the industry again, right? Now, again, that's what it did for me, but I implore some of you here today is like, listen, there are residential agents that we're working with today where they're prospecting, they're fantastic prospectors, they know the business, they understand the world of residential real estate, and then they all of a sudden come across because they're like, their uncle all of a sudden has a 20-unit apartment building they want to sell, and they're like, hey, I don't know how to do this. What if you did? What happens if instead of referring that $2 million sale or $4 million sale, you knew how to handle it yourself? And then you realize, like, oh, wait a second. My uncle now wants to do something called a 1031 exchange. He wants to buy a larger property. Now, all of a sudden, your average commission goes up. Your production goes up. Again, we were just talking about doing a deal for $87 million. We'd only be getting 3% commission if and when this deal ever closes. But still, when you do a deal and your average commission check, which, by the way, years ago, my average commission check when I first started was around $7,000. You know how many properties you have to sell to make any decent money, especially with inflation at all-time highs, to take care of your family when your average check is $7,000? It's just scary to think, like, I don't know how you live on that, right? It's just scary to think about. This is why I'm saying you have to be paying attention to, like, the opportunity which is right in front of you, which, again, NAR, I don't know if I believe NAR's all their statistics, but, again, if you look at this, the average income for a commercial real estate agent is $85,000 versus the average of $39,300. How do you live on $39,300? But, for $85,000, at least it gives you a fighting chance. And especially with some commercial deals these days, when you get an average, for us, it's right now a little over 5% commission on some of these deals where you're looking at a 6-figure check. Again, when I just said adding an extra $100,000 to your bottom line, I don't know if any of you put together, that could be one deal. This can be the difference in your year. This could be the difference of going on vacation or not. This could be the difference of, creating a legacy for your family or not. This could be the difference of you creating financial freedom or not. Just learning a few specific things. And by the way, the commercial world, yes, slightly different, but not entirely. Principle number 6, mastering the art of communication. We make 100,000 cold calls a month. A lot of people are like, that's insane. I don't know how you do that in the whole 9 yards. By the way, it started with just me, by myself, young 20-year-old, making calls, pounding the phones. And then it became 2 of us, then 3 of us, now 22 of us, all making calls together. And when it comes to making sales calls, I'm going to give you a couple of just my favorite tips for making sales calls. Some of you guys have heard of matching and mirroring. And if you guys know or watch my content, by the way, who here follows my content online? I just want to get humbled real fast. Okay, cool. Not enough. That's real humbling. You'll see, I post a lot of cold calling videos all the time. It's one of my favorite things to do. By the way, I'm going to tell you, I still have to, by the way, who here cold plunges? Does anybody like cold plunging? Just me? Okay, cool. Love it. Absolutely love it. It's the same feeling every single day, by the way. Which is like when cold plunging, you just know you have to do it, and you're like staring at the water, like, do I really have to do this today? And then you jump in the water, like, whew. The point is, this cold calling is the same exact concept. Cold calling is like, listen, I'm not saying that you have to love it. I'm just saying do it anyways. It's like some of the greatest people, the greatest players in this industry, right? Whether it's sphere of influence, whether it's cold calling, or anything else. Everyone's like, oh, well, I don't cold call. I'm like, all right, so how do you generate your leads? Well, I call up my clients. I'm like, oh, so you're still in sales, right? Because no matter what, you can't avoid it. You're in sales. So no matter what, you have to be matching and mirroring, which I'm not just saying, and if you're watching somebody and they're moving their arm, you move your arm, right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying specifically, it all has to come down to the next few things, which is tonality, rate of speech. Because if you're speaking to an elderly woman, like my grandmother, who's 90 years old, I'm probably not going to be talking as fast as I am when I'm on the stage here. You have to slow your voice down and be softer and match and mirror the way she speaks, because it makes her feel more comfortable. Then when you're speaking to possibly a younger couple, and you can speak a little bit faster because maybe they're from New York and they talk with an accent, and maybe you got to talk with them. The point is that matching and mirroring, it will go farther than you'll ever realize. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to build connection when a lot of your competition is stumbling over their words. Rate of speech. Obviously, I'm from Jersey. I speak very quickly. But sometimes what happens is you could literally read your script verbatim. And so many of us are just like, I don't want to read a script. I'm going to sound robotic. I don't want to sound salesy. What does your license say? Real estate salesperson. I guess we all forgot that. Next part here is a repeating prospect's name, right? Like when I'm speaking to Pam, I'm like, Pam, that's a fantastic question. Or Pam, like, I agree with you, Pam. And I'm just going to continue and reiterate her name because the favorite word, by the way, your favorite word, each individual's favorite word is your name. So you repeat it over and over and over again. So when you meet somebody new, you can remember their name as well. Ask yes questions. This is really simplistic. So if I was able to do that for you, is that something you can agree to? Would an afternoon or evening appointment be better for you? Whatever, right? Like you're going to be, once you can get them to say yes several times, setting the appointment, very easy. Understanding and focus on your objective. When you guys are in the residential business, by the way, and you are prospecting, does anybody know what your objective is on the phone? Set an appointment. Some of you are trying to list the property over the phone. How the heck does that happen? It just doesn't make any sense. The whole purpose of being on the phone is to set an appointment. And that's it. It's hello, intro, build rapport, ask questions, close, click. So many of us just like to word vomit, and then all of a sudden you talk yourself out of an appointment. Where it's like the simplicity of prospecting is really just mastering the art of communication, just like some of these here. And if you know that your objective is to set an appointment, set the appointment and get off the phone. That's the only objective, right? You won. You got the appointment. Goodbye. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you today. In commercial, you might not be setting an appointment. However, it is somewhat similar. A lot of us can be just gathering information. But so many of us, when you're in the commercial, you might not know the right questions to ask or anything. What happens is that just the fact of making the phone call, even if you did not know what to say, is still 1,000-fold better than your competition. And I'm going to talk about this in a second. Let's get visual real fast, okay? I'm not a sports guy. So what we're going to try to do is going to make a sports analogy. What we're going to do here is we're going to go, me and Michael Jordan are going to shoot some free throws. I'm probably going to lose here. But let's just say me and Michael stand next to each other. We're shooting free throws. You give us 5 each. Who's going to win? I would agree with you, okay? Michael's probably going to beat me. Let's say you gave me 50 opportunities, and you gave Michael 5. Who's going to win? I'd have to say that I probably would win. What happens here is that I want you to think about this when it comes to sales, when it comes to prospecting, when it comes to lead gen. Again, I don't care if it's cold calling, sphere of influence, this, that, or anything. I don't care. How many conversations are you having? Because having 2 or 5 conversations a day is not going to cut it. Do you understand? Being in real estate, you have your own business. You have a storefront. I'm open for business. And all of you who are not making any type of phone calls are going, where is everybody? They're supposed to be here. The door's open. I'm open for business. And if you're not on the phone prospecting each and every single day, bringing the customers in, going out into the world and bringing them into the fold, right? Bringing them into your business, then who else is going to? Because again, back to the analogy real quick. Now, what happens here is that this is the magic of going from a seasoned pro like Elizabeth, where she might be getting a lot of referrals right now. But guess what? She's been in the industry for nearly 2 decades. Of course she is. And she deserves everything because she's doing the work. But guess what? If I, again, rookie brand new agent going against Elizabeth or myself, guess what? You might have to do 500 versus our 5. You might. For a period of time. We go through seasons of sacrifice in different aspects of our life. We go through seasons. And who here, by the way, who here has big goals and big dreams and big aspirations and things they want to accomplish? Is it just me? Thank you for putting your hands up for those of you who did. Guess what? In order to achieve just about every single one of those goals, dreams, and aspirations, all of you can. Some of you will, but it starts with a season of sacrifice. And some of you are okay and willing and who are committed like no other to achieving it. And some of you are like, if it happens, it happens, I guess. And by the way, what kind of attitude is that when it comes to your goals, dreams, and aspirations? Guess what? You are setting yourself up for a maybe. Would you go up to somebody and say, when you're trying to propose, you're not going to be like, hey, instead of, will you marry me? It's like, oh, I think I'd be okay. I might be a good partner. No. Marry me because I'm the best, right? I'm the best for you. And that's what we need to be doing to our clients. Not marry them, but you get my point here, okay? So it's like some of you might have to be on the 500 side in order to just get the same result, but I promise you it's not forever. I promise you it's not forever. However, I believe what's magic is that when it comes to numbers, like we talked about recruitment before, then the magic really happens. You want to scale a business? Some of you are trying to do this all alone because you're like, I want my name on the sign. I want my name on this. I want my name on that. I want all the recognition. You know what's really cool? Your checking account being the biggest one in this room. You know what's really cool? Owning the most real estate in every room you walk in and not caring about it. That can be an accidental thing when you get recognized and becoming the best. Right? Becoming number 1. I care about those things that actually matter, but like imagine this. Now it's like, hey, you might be a rookie agent. You might be only in the business for a few short years, but as you can attract the right team, you can attract the right partners, you can attract several people in this room might want to work with you today, right, or in the future. And if you bring them all together, imagine you plus a team of people together, all making and all committed to greatness, all committed to one single goal. Do you think you're going to win in this type of scenario? What are your odds of winning when you have this type of team? Substantially higher. Multitudes higher, double-digit percentage points higher. Now, marketing. Marketing is the craziest thing ever to me because I feel like it's this forever changing ecosystem. It's constantly changing, and so many of us are still trying to do it like it was in 1960. And let me explain what I mean by that, which is we have gone through this insane shift in the world of marketing, where nearly, I don't know if it was like, what, a decade ago or whatever, when, Facebook and Instagram and all these software started coming up. And again, it's not like you guys haven't heard it before, you guys should be posting. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit more clarity today. Because I'm gonna talk about video for a second, because again, I don't know, there's only half a dozen people or maybe who knew who I am, and I post an insane amount. We'll talk about it in a minute. But this is the point I'm trying to make here, which is quality and quantity. Because video might be king, but quality and quantity are queen. When it comes to social media, it's literally like a business. I have a team of 11 VAs who handle 100% of my social media, right? This is not something that I'm telling you. You know why some of you are not posting on social media? Because you're relying on yourself to do it, and you don't even make the calls. You don't make the calls. What do you think you're gonna post on social media too? Everything's a business. Everything has to be treated like a business. Every single aspect should be treated like a business. So I'm here, but the big piece of this is video content. I have my videographer here today. I know a lot of other speakers are gonna have a videographer up here. Everything is content. This is content right now. Everything is content. You're like, I don't know if I'm that interesting. Somebody will find you interesting, okay? I promise you that. I didn't think I was that interesting, and now we have 15,500 subscribers, about 100,000 followers across multiple platforms. And guess what? I don't think I'm that exciting. I guess people do, right? So all I'm doing is I'm sharing my journey. I'm sharing my story. That's all I'm doing. I'm just sharing what I'm doing, and people find it entertaining because guess what? As much as every single one of you might not think you have something special, you are the gift. Share it. Outsource everything. Guys, like outsourcing everything is what changed everything for me when it came to content. The only thing I do is that I have it all set up in my house. I have my camera, it never moves. My camera's set up, my green screen is set up, my whole thing is set up. I click record, I sit down, I record it and send it to my team, and they take care of everything else. Let's talk about this piece real fast. How many people here post at least one time per week on any platform? Video. I don't care about pictures. Okay, cool. How many people here post at least 2 times a week video? Keep your hands raised. Don't put them down. Put them down. I want to see. I want you to see this room real fast. How many people post at least once a day video content, new content, every single day? One piece of new video. 2 videos a day, every day. Okay, we still got our hands up. Okay, 3 videos a day. Okay, cool. I mean, hey, you're doing great. That's awesome. I want you to share. We post about 100 pieces of content, video first, a week. And guess what? My only job is to do 2 things. Live my life and do the business, and guess what? Click record, because everything is content. You don't have to overthink this, because so many of you guys I just don't know what to put on there. Number one, you have AI, ChatGPT, and the whole 9. You could literally just go, what do I record? But on top of that, guess what? Just record what you're doing on a daily basis, and I promise someone will find it interesting, and business will just flow your way. I can't even put a number to what it's done for me financially, but guess what? I pay over $10,000 a month for my team. I'm not telling you to do that day one. But I'm telling you, as somebody who's been doing it now for a little over 4 years, content like literally nearly full time, where it's main priority for me, it gets you business, but you have to commit to it. It's not like you're gonna put up a video. How many of us have put up one video and I got like 3 likes? Guess what? Some of my videos still do. Mindset changed my life. Does anybody know who Tony Robbins is? Okay, not everybody. It's kind of concerning. But Tony Robbins, look him up. Promise you, he'll also support you. I went to a Tony Robbins event. I walked on fire. I'm a fire walker, right? I've been to many of his events. And I can tell you for sure, for certain, nothing else in my life has compounded more than focused on investing in my mindset. Nothing else has given me more of a return. So I want to talk about this. When it comes to mindset, this is a game of long-term thinkers. I tell everybody, who here has heard the phrase, life is short? I don't know about you, but my grandparents are in their 90s. That was not short. Life is long, people, okay? So I'm telling you, life is long. My mantra is life is long. I got a long road to go, and I'm committed to everything, right? One of my biggest goals is I will become a billionaire. You will see it in real time if you watch my content. And I'm here to just share with you, and I say that out loud because the more people I tell, the more it just invigorates me to show everyone that I can and show myself and show my future kids, my future family, my grandkids. I'm going to change the bloodline. That's what I'm trying to do here. And guess what? That was also one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to get in commercial, because not only do I get to prospect for my clients, but I get to prospect for myself. It's the best thing in the world. So it's like, think about long term. Every single one of your goals can be achieved. The problem is that some of us just look in too short of a time frame. You go like, oh, well, for some of you who maybe just brand new to the business, congratulations, you made the best decision on planet Earth. The next part is commitment, which is committing to the fact of like, I'm not going to stop until it happens versus that I'm going to try and see how this goes. Because if you look here, millionaire realtors on average have been in the business 10 years. And some of you guys have been in the business for 2 years, and you're like, why am I not making enough money? What business goes from 0 to $2 million, $1 million in a matter of 24 months? It just does not happen. But Instagram put something in your head that like maybe that occurrence, it doesn't make any sense to me. It takes time. Amazing things, skyscrapers, these beautiful, amazing things take time to be created. Unless we're in Dubai and you got $1 trillion in your checking account, and you can build Dubai in a matter of 2 years. But most of us are not going to be in that position, right? Most of us, success is going to take time. I'm excited. I tell people all the time, I'm going to be in this industry a minimum until I'm 70, and I can't freaking wait. And guess what? I might not be a real estate agent and selling like deals, as a broker the entirety of that time, but I know I got at least 20 to 30 more years on the broker side minimum. Minimum, because I know, again, to become a billionaire, I got to be in this game for at least 40, 50 years, and I'm committed to whatever it takes. Redefining winning. What is winning to you in 20 years? I mentioned this before. Winning to me is walking into a room knowing I have the biggest checking account and owning the most real estate. It's not selling the most real estate. That's a plus. But winning is focusing on the things that actually will drive you and your family forward. So focus on the right type of winning. Last thing here is success drivers. This is not rocket science, people. I'm a 2-time college dropout. Okay? This is not rocket science. If it was, I wouldn't be in the industry, right? This is an industry where anybody can come from anywhere, right? Any type of background or history, right? Anything whatsoever, and come in this industry and change your bloodline. Right? That's why we love real estate. And here, when it comes to success drivers, show me your habits, show me your standards, show me your network. I will show you your future. And for whatever reason, people don't want to change your habits. We don't want to raise our standards because we're comfortable. And we never try to grow our network, when the only thing that actually can make you more money is raising the 3. Last thing here real quick is, did you know that accountability increases success rate by 95%? Why do you do this industry alone? Thankfully, you guys showed up, and I want you to make at least 1 or 2 or 3 friends before you guys leave and commit to goals to each other. Will you hold me accountable? Here's a quick one real fast. I'm going to give you a 90-day challenge. Has everyone heard of 75 Hard? Raise your hand if you know what 75 Hard is. I just completed it. It's fantastic. I love it. It's an amazing thing, and it teaches you commitment to like no other. Here's a 90-day challenge for those of you who want to take your business to the next level. 90 minutes of prospecting a day, every day, 7 days a week. And then last thing, just for me personally, I would have never dreamed 10 years ago I'd be on a stage in front of a room like this, being able to share my gift. I want you to understand, I hope every single one of you has the opportunity and commits to your greatness, because each one of you deserves to be on the stage one day. Thank you so much.
All right, give it up. Thank you.
Thank you again, Henry. That was amazing.